Hi guys, really hope you are all well. So the unit for this week, as you may see here on my presentation, is about phrasal verbs. And we're gonna focus on two things about phrasal verbs: literal and metaphorical meanings, right? You will find everything related to this unit set up on Cynthia platform. There you will have a section for teaching materials and some activities that I will explain later. Um, but now let's cover some issues very quickly about phrasal verbs. The first thing is so you may have in mind the phrasal verbs are like compound words that's usually made of a verb, an adverb, or a preposition, and they work together to build up a meaning, right? So usually we can have like a verb plus a preposition, or a verb plus an adverb, or we can have like the three of them together. Like for example, get up, that's a phrasal verb, right? It's made of a verb, which is get, and up, which is a preposition. But sometimes we have phrasal verbs like look forward to. Then we have a verb, an adverb, and a preposition. And some phrasal verbs have like a literal meaning. Literal means like the meaning is associated directly to the meaning of the verb and the preposition, right? Like for example, if you say, look up the sky, you see, look implies like an action from your eyes, right? And up implies a position in this way. So look up means just see, right? And an upper position, so an upper position. That would be like a literal meaning. But if you say, for example, look up this word in the dictionary, then that's a meaning that is like inferred, that is metaphorical, right? So not all the phrasal verbs have like both type of meaning. Some of them usually have like one type of metaphorical meaning. Like for example, give up. You see, when we think of the verb give, it's like transfer an object, a thing to another person, right? And up the position, but give up is like stop doing something. So there is no relationship um, of the literal meaning of the phrasal verb and the preposition and right and the meaning that actually or yeah, the meaning in which the phrasal verb is related to when it's together. So keep that in mind. Here we have like some examples. You can just take a look of this presentation. It is on Cynthia on the unit, right? And what I explained before. So we can have phrasal verb made of a verb and an adverb, right? A verb plus a preposition, or we can have the three of them combined, like a verb, an adverb, and a preposition. So based on that, we have like four type of phrasal verbs that you can also take a look of this with some examples that I provide here on the presentation, right? Another thing that I want you to focus is talking about the issue that some phrasal verbs can be transitive and some intransitive. The suffix in means no. That is, there is no existence. It's the opposite of having something. Intransitive means that there is a transition, right, of the action. So when we say that a phrasal verb is intransitive, it means that nobody receives the action that is contained in the phrasal verb. For example, when you say, I get up, right, at 5 a.m., it means that there is a subject that does the action that is contained in the phrasal verb, but nobody is receiving that action, right? Transitive is quite the opposite. Is when the phrasal, when the action that is representing, that is in the phrasal verb, is received by an object, right? Remember that an object could be a person, it could be a thing, it could be an animal. An object is the noun that receives the action. So if I say, I made up this story, it means the story is the object right? And it's receiving the action of the phrasal verb that is made by the subject I. So that's basically the difference between intransitive and transitive. And why is this important? Because intransitive phrasal verbs, number one, they cannot be separated, like have something in the middle. But sometimes we can separate transitive. Like for example, get up. There is nothing in the middle between get and up. But if it's, I say, for example, look up the word, you can say also look it up, right? And then you can place the object in the middle of the sentence. So that is why it's really important to know like the difference between intransitive and transitive phrasal verbs. Here we have like some examples that you can take a look at them, just to be like more informed, right? Um, so as I was saying before, a phrasal verb could have like a literal meaning, an idiomatic, figurative, or metaphorical meaning, right? Like for example, if you say to run around, right, something, it means to run in circle around something. That would be the literal meaning. The action of run and and around, the preposition around that implies this, right? But for example, the dog ran around the fire hydrant. It means the dog did the action as it is described in the phrasal verb, right? Like running this way and this shape. But sometimes the same phrasal verb could have another meaning, like um, to go to various places to do something. That's idiomatic or figurative. Like I spend the day running around the town. It doesn't mean that I like just like run around the town in circles. It means that I went to a place, then to another place, then to another. So I was like jumping from one place to the other. So in that case, that would be like a metaphorical meaning, right? Like idiomatic meaning. This is the most common. I mean, both of them are common, right? But some phrasal verbs, like they don't have a literal meaning. Like for example, give up, right? Like it always has like an idiomatic meaning or a figurative or metaphorical meaning. Good. So here we have more examples. More examples. Remember, if we talk about intransitive phrasal verbs, it means that we cannot split the phrasal verb. We cannot put something in the middle of the verb and the preposition. But with transitive phrasal verbs, right, we can like put something in the middle. Like for example, um, we will have to put off the meeting, put off the meeting. Or we can say we will have to put the meeting up, or to put it up, right? And they turned down my offer, or we can say, for example, they turned my offer down, or they turned it down, right? If you use um, a pronoun to replace the noun that you are talking about, like it, like him, her, if you're talking about people, the only position in which you can put the pronoun that is replacing the noun is in the middle. We cannot put it at the end, right? I mean, usually we don't put it at the end. Like turn it down. We cannot say like turn down it, right? If you want to put it at the end, then you have to use the proper noun. I mean the noun that is that associated with the thing you are talking to. You are talking about. So for example, the offer, right? They turn down my offer. They turn my offer down, right? Or they turn it down. That would be something. Good. So you may check this in detail and read carefully, right? There is another document that it is here that I strongly recommend you revise this document. It is called Phrasal Verbs Macmillan. It's from a very famous editorial desk, right? It's a PDF. Here you will find like very complete information about phrasal verbs. So I suggest you reading it carefully. It has some things highlighted so you can have like an idea how to get the meaning of phrasal verbs when they have metaphorical meanings. Because there is there is no rule in English that we can say, for example, these are the meaning associated with this, right? These kind of phrasal verbs. Usually we have to memorize them. And also for the case of transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs. So in this case in the document, there are some clues about the adverbs and prepositions that can give you like some clues about how to understand the meaning of some phrasal verbs. So I really recommend you read this um, very carefully. So good. So let's talk about the assignments for this week. You will have basically one activity, right? But it's divided in two parts. That was why I asked you to make groups and choose a topic, right? Because the activity is in groups. So the activity consists of choosing a topic. You already did it, right? And based on that topic, you are going to find out, look for phrasal verbs that are associated with that topic. You're not inventing anything, right? You can look for a list in Google. For example, if you say phrasal verbs related to travel or traveling, then you will find like a list, right? You can just look for different sources to get different phrasal verbs, right? And you are going to make a glossary. A glossary is like a list of words with definitions. In that glossary, which is this wiki, you're going to include the phrasal verb, the literal meaning of the phrasal verb, in an example in which you use a meaning, or a literal meaning of the phrasal verb, and a metaphorical meaning. If you have a phrasal verb and you find that there is no literal meaning, then you can add just the metaphorical meaning. For checking the meaning of the phrasal verbs, here there is a link to a Cambridge dictionary because you're not inventing the meanings, right? You are like, I'm looking for the meanings, I'm making a list of phrasal verbs, and then I'm making the meanings, like looking for the meanings, right? So you can use this dictionary um, that I really recommend that you go to Cambridge Learners Advanced Dictionary. And here, for example, you write the phrasal verb, give up, you look for the word, right? And at the end, right, you will find like the definition of the phrasal verb, even from the very beginning, right? Even with examples, but I suggest like you making your own examples. Um, good. So you are going to make a glossary of 30, 30, right? 30 phrasal verbs associated with your topic. You're three, so you may divide, so you can work faster um, and collaboratively. Um, so remember, the phrasal verb, the literal definition, the metaphorical definition, and an example for the two of them. That would be like for each phrasal verb. Um, that glossary, you are going to put it here in this wiki space. Here, where it says phrasal verb, literal, metaphorical meaning. If you click here, right, then you will find, let me see. Okay, you will find here some categories. I will assign the categories here. So if you say like a category like travel, okay, that's my group. You click on the category, right? And then you go to edit in this part that editar, and then you will find like a box like this, right? Like this, um, in which you are going to write all your glossary. I recommend you using like pictures, if we want to include pictures. Like, let me show you the one that is done from the other group. So for example, here in unit 2, right, this is the same activity. You go to phrasal verbs, then you will find like an introduction like this, right? And then you find your category, right? And you're going to only edit your category. You go, for example, traveling, and then you go editar, edit, and then you will have the space in which you can work. You can add like a picture related to the phrasal verb, and then you start making like the glossary, right? Later. Very good. So that's basically the thing about the wiki. If you have questions, you can like text me. Very good. The other thing that you're going to do once you have like your glossary done is that in the group you are going to create a plot for a situation that has to do with the topic you chose, right? If you're three, you are going to make three characters and a role for each character. And you're going to record, make the script, right, for the um, plot, and then you're going to perform that script. It's not making a role play. I know that you cannot like join and be together to record, but once you have the script, you can just individually place in a part in your house, right, where it's appropriate for like performing the role that you have, and then all those pieces you put them together, edit the video, and you will have like a role play, right? Let me show you like an example so you can see. This is not related to the topic. It was something that a girl did for a grammar class last semester. But this is basically what you have to do.
Another class. Today we are going to have a debate. The second thing is that we are going to need somebody to chair the debate. Oh, I'm good at that. Oh, that's great. Have you ever done it before? Sure. Every Saturday I go to chair my football team. I'm talking about chair, not cheer. Now, what subject shall we debate? We might talk about girls. Girl is not a subject. It should be, but subjects for debates are in form of questions. For example, should men and women have equal pay for equal work? You should say ideas related to the subject. For our debate, I think we will take the subject of solution. We have to choose people, one opposer and one proposer. In other words, one to speak for good and one for bad. Juan, how about you? Yes, good and bad. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad. I'm not talking about your personality, Juan. Do you think television is good or bad? Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Make up your mind in a debate. You can't sit on the fence. Okay, just forget. Annie, you can be the proposer, and Ali, you can be the opposer. Am I good or bad? Bad. I like being bad because when I'm bad, I'm very good. Presentation. Annie will speak first with the proposition that television is good for community. Television is very common for everyone. More people watch it. More people buy it. Japan makes best of television. Cameras, radio, and also Japan makes best of everything. Thank you all. Just remember you're talking about television, not doing a commercial for Japan. Would you please present your case against television? I think television is very bad for the eyes. Yes, and also bad for the legs.
Okay, so that's the idea. As you may see here, it was a work that she preferred like doing individually, right? And she performed all the characters. So the idea is that you like find a way to do something very interesting, funny, um, and I know you are very creative to make these kind of things and to deal with technology. So basically, after you have designed the glossary, when you have the glossary ready, you're going to include those phrasal verbs in your situation. You're going to create a situation based on the topic you chose, right? And you're going to create a situation to use those phrasal verbs. It doesn't mean that you have to use or include all the 30 phrasal verbs that you have in your glossary, but um, you're going to include as many as you can. And so that's the idea, that you can include the most phrasal verbs that you can on your script, right? Once you have like all the parts together, you have the video edited, right? You're going to send me in this part the video link. You're going to upload the video to your YouTube channel, and you're going to share the link of the video. And here also you're going to send me the script, right, of the activity. Finally, the last activity is a Kahoot for phrasal verbs. Here you have all the information and also the link for the game. And I will give, as usually when we have a game, I will give the winner extra points, right? Um, you have to do it before, I think, September 9th, right? September 9th or 10th. So, I mean, all the activities are for the same day. But don't pretend like to postpone and to start working on the activity just on the last day, right? Start working from today on so you can have enough time to work on everything. So that's it for this week. I really hope that you like made such a great job with these activities. If you have questions, you can text me, right? And remember, next week we will have the first term exam. For sure, there will be a speaking part that will appear for sure. So I will make the decision when to start, just in case that we don't have enough time, because this is going to be individually. And the topics are um, immigration and stereotypes, that is unit 1, and phrasal verbs. I mean, related to this issue of phrasal verbs, and the topics that are included, that are going to be included on this wiki. The idea of doing the glossary inside the wiki is that everybody can see the partner's work, I mean other people's work, right? So that way you can study, because we're gonna choose like some of them by categories, to have like a vocab part in the first term exam, and probably we could also have like a reading and listening part. So make sure it's not only like just like going to your category in the wiki, but also, right, like making sure that you check all the categories, all your partners' work, and you can study them, right? I mean, the phrase numbers. So that's it, guys. Bye bye.